Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Urban Politics. I'm your humble host, Fizz and Music. This right here is Urban Politics. I'm with my good friend right here, Rick Rancier, one of the big brains on campus. You know what I'm saying? I love to talk with this guy. We have amazing conversations. We done already been doing amazing stuff off camera, but now we on camera because I said I can't waste it. I refuse to waste it. You know what I'm saying? This guy dropping jewels. I refuse to waste it. We got to get it on camera. You know what I'm saying? Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. It's a happy day.
Word up, man. Thank you for having me over on a Sunday. We've been sipping some libations. I got mine off. I meant to bring it on camera because I meant to get a little sip in me or whatever, but I've got a few sips in me, so it's all good, ladies and gentlemen. I'm great. We talking some politics today, so without further ado, we're going to get into it because why? There's all types of tasty and delicious politics to get into. For real, I'm telling you, I can taste it. I can taste it on my mouth, man. Listen, we're going to talk about this natural disaster that is RFK. Now, how about this?
Here we go.
I don't think we reviewed this, did we? So I'm springing this on you. So that's awesome too, though. Y'all can get his real take on this guy who is not his great grandfather's son, father's son. Me and Hakeem was talking about, what is he? Is he the great grandson of RF the RFK that we know, or you know what I'm saying,
I believe he's his
Kennedy,
son.
right?
No, he's his RFK's son. Robert,
is he the son
he's
of Robert Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay.
Robert Kennedy Jr.
So, and Robert Kennedy and his brother Bobby Kennedy kind of died, right? I'm thinking for
John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy died. Bobby is Robert.
Yes.
So they were both assassinated.
Yes.
Then the grandson was died in an airplane crash, I believe.
Yes. Okay, I remember that.
And
how did I know you would know this?
Well, I mean, we can go way back. The father's, was organized crime. Short story, long story, organized.
That's
crime.
how they made their money.
That's how they made their money,
Mm-hmm.
and through those funds was able to get that power into office.
Word.
And John Kennedy was actually considered a good man at heart. So that was
now he done segued me right in where I was going with this. There was a time we go to black homes and you would see Martin Luther King, you would see Kennedy.
Yep. And a wall full of other black people
on the wall, because black people respected him so much for being about civil rights. When he got assassinated, people said that was because, civil rights, that was his baby, and then when he passed on, that's when Lyndon B. Johnson picked it up and ended up getting civil rights passed because it was, John F. Kennedy's, that was his thing, and it was interesting how a rich white man would care about poor black folk. So that was huge, what I'm saying? So that was something that black folk revered him for years about. But this guy is a part of that lineage, and he's not such a shining example of that. Okay, so listen, RFK was on heroin since he was 14 years old. I didn't know none of this. It blew me away. On heroin. Okay. He failed the bar exam because he was high during the bar exam, so he couldn't take, he failed it. He was getting grilled by Democrats and Republicans. Why? Since he done took over health and stuff like that, millions of children have died because this guy is an anti-vaxxer, right? He don't believe in vaccines, so he done pulled a lot of them away. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people can't get access to that. So children have died. So you have Republicans and Democrats coming out like, hey, bruh, kids have died, so that's a problem.
Yeah, so,
Well, I'm not trying to be flippant about, ladies and gentlemen. We're not laughing about that, but I laugh, I guess, because it's the fact that, a lot of people, voted for Trump as president, and he's all about people's last names, because the only thing that's really gotten him a lot of pub is his last name.
Yes.
So how he done, nominated the guy, Health and Human Services, his last name, the guy's an idiot. The guy's a buffoon, and his nomination has led to the death of a lot of children. So,
people in general.
How you feel about that?
Okay. RFK Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, I'm gonna say it. He's a lot like Kanye West in that sense. I think he started off really doing his research because I've heard him say some credible historical facts about black people in health.
How about?
And I think a lot of his criticism towards the national vaccines are based around how black people interacted or how minorities are interacted with our healthcare system. Now, I think he also carried a lot of those conspiracies over into other areas he shouldn't have, and kind of developed a paranoid state, and that can happen to any of us.
Yeah.
That's not terrible. What's terrible about it is that now he has to hold a line that, he can't hold it. He has none of the history. And what history he does have is obviously not good. He has no healthcare experience, but he does have the name. And I think when he started out trying to get into the public space, I think he was bringing up issues, well, particularly towards the black community in healthcare, that were relevant throughout time in history in America. Now that he has the power that he has, and he has the name that he is a lot more pliable. It actually is a detriment to him. It's a liability. His name is the liability, not so much. It's what carried him out to make us watch him.
Yes.
But now it's something that, he's being held hostage with.
I 110% agree with this man. Let me tell you something. You just said it though. I mean, for real. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Oh my goodness. This guy. Okay, listen. He is.
Hey, look.
Look, he has a problem with vaccines. I get it. I work with the autistic community.
Yes.
And like I've even went on record on this show as saying, do we need to investigate a lot of these vaccinations and what they're doing to quote unquote make kids autistic or lead to that?
Why not?
Let's investigate that.
What?
Yes.
Why not?
But that doesn't mean you cut out vaccines.
Yes.
Because now we got kids getting polio.
Yes. Well, you don't cut out all the vaccines. Here's the thing. Some of these vaccines that we have are not necessarily the same thing that we're considering vaccines today in that sense. If these are things that are obvious, measles, you said polio.
Yeah.
These are things that we've been able to eliminate, and they require you to get in school. They require all that kind of stuff. They're mandatory in the sense of being in public space.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a problem with that types of things. What I'm skeptical of, and not even against, but skeptical. Is that right?
Yeah, skeptical.
Yeah,
for
sure. Anything that's developed that fast.
Yeah.
Not that I won't take it in the sense of public health, but should we not scrutinize anything that's presented to us that fast, considering we didn't know the harm of cell phones?
That's the whole thing, right, with the COVID vaccine, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They came up with it so quick. It came out of nowhere so quick. A lot of these vaccines we've had around for years. I got them. You got them. We went and got them for years, but then that COVID vaccine they came up with in like, what, a couple of months?
Yes.
And then boom, they got everybody taking it, and then the people who took it, and they're saying that some of the people who have taken it can't donate blood, right?
Yes.
Because they got that in their bloodstream and all this other stuff going on. I never got it. But you know what I'm saying? I guess I'm glad I never got it.
Well, then
because
there was the ventilator issue. It was just all these things that we didn't know about COVID at the time, and it was just And so what I'm saying is that I appreciate the skepticism, and there should always be that level of skepticism, especially before we, as a nation, decide to choose to make this a permanent part of our medical practice.
I agree.
And we still are having problems with it. From what I understand, there's a new COVID every couple of years still to this day.
True indeed. Now listen. Trump gonna talk about, he said that. I'm gonna let RFK go crazy. I'm gonna let him go crazy on healthcare. I'm gonna let him go crazy on it, which blew me away because I don't want nobody going crazy on healthcare. But he's like, I'm gonna let him go crazy. Do you think he did that because he's a Nepo baby? Like Trump, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of living off that last name. You know, your last name is Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You getting a whole lot of pub off of that last name, right?
I think that he thinks, or he thought at the time, that he had more understanding of how medicine worked when he was starting to learn about, again, minority experience in the medical arena, seeing how much foul and what people were willing, not just people, but institutions were willing to implement to hurt communities.
Yeah.
And once he saw that, he knew that the willingness was there and the opportunity is there. So where else does it exist? And that creates a paranoid state, which again, you have the power, you do the research, you do the, you investigate, but at the same time, you don't cause yourself to panic.
Yeah.
You don't want your leadership, and that's part of his unpopular allures, that he seems to be in constant panic over it.
Which
means he's serious, he cares.
It's not his voice.
And that's part of it too,
It's painful to hear this guy talk. It is painful to hear this guy talk.
It is. He's searching for some spotlight. I'm sure he has seen some things he thinks the world needs to know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, right now at this point, what you have to share with the world really doesn't need. At this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder about him sometimes. I felt
like Kanye. Kanye had
Kanye
something very important that the world needed to know at some point, and then it wasn't. And then another point came up, and then it was like, oh, that was not, and then it wasn't at all. Stop talking. And I think RFK found himself in a situation he couldn't hold the water. Kind of like Kanye.
That did some
he
of
just
that.
didn't lose no billion.
Hey, look, hold up. I want to talk to you too about the Epstein files. Victims came out and they, in a show of solidarity, said that they're making their own list. What do you think about this Epstein files?
It should have started off as their own list.
I heard that.
It should have started. You should have started with their list. I don't know why. I mean, maybe Epstein's list is a confirmation to their list. But at the end of the day, there's already should have been a list if you've got a group of victims who are willing to speak out. At least a considerable, maybe not the whole one or whatever. But you should have an idea just based on that.
Would you say everything that Trump is doing is just a diversion from that list?
No.
I think so.
I would say this. Yes, he is diverting from the list, but not everything he's doing.
Yes!
This is what I'm going to allude to this. It's not just Trump.
Okay. No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Hollywood.
Well, there's plenty of Democrats on that list too. There's plenty of people that we know and love, that we both know and love, who are on that list.
So it's unfortunately, we do not have the law enforcement that we, the people, thought that we had. We thought we had a law enforcement that would at least lean towards the will of the people when it came to these types of large criminal empires or acts or
You're right.
But I think what people are learning, and it's not the first time they're figuring, they saw it in past cases, but what we are
He said this ain't the first time. But
we saw this developing
Sad.
because it's a new media. It's a color TV ain't been forever. You know what I'm saying? So we're all seeing this happen in real time. So it's a little difficult to keep up. But it is.
Oh my Lord!
But I think what we're seeing taking place is you cannot hide behind the support of mainstream media.
Yeah.
You cannot hide behind the support of the government or the banks, because the people care right now. The people are, if there's anything that's uniting the country right now, it's that you cannot lie about this.
People are paying attention.
And if we want answers to this, if people start figuring out what other issues are being discussed that are probably more relevant to day-to-day behaviors and activities and access, this could be something that triggers the people into a much stronger political participant than we've ever had in the history of the world.
I agree.
Because, again, literacy is not age old. The world has not been illiterate forever.
That is sad. And that it's true. Yeah, I think you were saying something about the turn of the century. Most people couldn't read.
Most people couldn't read. So the fact that most people can read, and the fact that most people can read and are not willing to, is a whole something else we got to deal with.
That's a whole nother show, ain't it?
We'll do that another show. But we have people that are reading and they're paying attention, and apparently they're putting the right headlines out for people to be able to sort of keep up and develop a real independent observation.
I agree with that.
Of the truth.
Yeah, word. Now hold up. Let's talk about Mr. Newsom, Gavin Newsom. He is the governor of California. Would you vote for that guy?
No.
Why not? I was like, why not? First of all, this man been trolling Trump online. I love it. I was going to ask you, do you think that's a way to the White House? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He been on True Social and he been putting out the tweets and stuff, and then he'll tweet stuff in capital letters and stuff like Trump do, and he been really getting at the right. People on Fox be talking about it all the time. It's hilarious. I love it. That's why I said he got my vote for president. Why would you not vote for that guy?
I think he's got his mind and heart in the right place, but I think he's just as reckless as Trump.
Wow.
I really do. I think he's just as reckless. He wants to play that game. And I don't think if you're a politician, if you're a leader, if you're a real leader, you don't want. If you're doing your job well, people don't need to talk about you and talk about what you feel about the next politician. You're doing your job well. Mm-hmm. If you know what's going on, you don't need to worry about what's this other guy's doing. Mm-hmm. If you are a leader. Now, if you want this other guy's job, then it comes to a point where you got to start talking about how this guy's doing and what you think of him and what you think other people think of him. Mm-hmm. And in his position, he's right. He's right to be critical towards the president. But as far as leadership that I would desire, or that I would consider not reckless, which is I think what we need at this point.
Worthy of the office?
Because it's an office, I don't think you are allowed to be reckless. And I think that's the same of a governor's office. If you have an office that's not just your office, it's a seat, you don't have the right to be reckless with it. Okay. And that's any leadership position of that sort.
Would you say that because you've been elected to that office?
Well, because you have to hold the line of the office, yes. Not just elected, but you wanted it.
Yeah.
And that means you got to take the responsibility of holding that line. And that's ethically, and again, Trump has violated that ethics, and pretty much our leadership right now. But that's why I wouldn't necessarily want to vote for him. It depends on who votes against. Who is he running against? That's another question.
We disagree, sir.
It depends on who the man's running against.
You know what did Michelle Obama say? When they go high, we go low. Screw that. They go low. We need to go lower. We need to drag them to hell. Can you tell that I've been on TikTok?
And I understand that. I understand that strategy, but I know that at the end of the day, if you're responsible for other people and you decide to go low and go lower, eventually your people are going to repeat that strategy. And the same thing with Gavin Newsom,
Where does it end? I hear what you're saying. Where does it end?
Back to reality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's something to be said for being the adult in the room. Barack Obama, he was always the adult in the room. So there's something to be said for that. So I hear what that is. But I also get, I think a lot of people, and I like to see somebody on the Democratic side fighting. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like Gavin Newsom is fighting. You know what I'm saying? He's a fighter because he's fighting. He's fighting on that lame level as Trump, but it's still a fight. It's better than just people sitting back.
Is it a fight though?
But look, Chuck Schumer gonna talk about, hey, we wrote a letter at.
I didn't say Chuck Schumer could box either. I didn't say he was the greatest of all time. I didn't say he had a chance of even winning. But I mean, look, he didn't even feint a punch. As far as I'm concerned, and this is, I think, the issue with the Democratic Party right now, is that when they claim they're fighting, that's like, I can't even tell you punching. I did not even realize you were blocking. If you've been blocking punches, I am shocked because it looks like you just been getting the shit beat out of you, and that you just been like okay with it because it will come to an end
win eventually, and the people will decide for us.
And see,
it's
they-
what kind of leadership, again, are you trying to really provide? You know,
But you just said it, and that's the reason why I think Gavin Newsom been kind of effective, because at least he's showing him.
let's get beat up while I talk. Let's let everything go wrong. I'm gonna make a bunch of jokes. He is okay. He's the Coliseum.
I'll make a bunch of
He's working for Trump. Then he's just making Trump's job easier. Keep these people entertained while I keep on messing stuff up.
Oh my lord! I mean, I don't know what should the Democratic Party be. And you know, look, I talked about on the show what I think the Democratic Party should be doing is attacking on the legislative front, attacking attacking like legally, because a lot of this stuff they can fight in court. All this stuff that Trump does, it gets thwarted in court, right? So that's what the Democratic Party needs to be doing. They got Democratic lawyers that sit on the left. So go in and get them guys and, you know what I'm saying, take a lot of this stuff to court or whatever. But I don't know why the Democratic Party ain't doing that.
I would love if it was a bipartisan issue.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's I have not observed that this is a bipartisan problem.
Then what's a bipartisan? What do you mean?
It appears that as long as the only policies provided come from the Democrat or through the Democrat and through the Republican parties, it's something that we can discuss as a serious policy that we're willing to put in power in this country. Unless we're willing to discuss policies developed by libertarian parties and green parties and socialist democratic parties, I don't think that we're having a real political conversation here. I think we're kind of locking the doors on creativity and solutions and really just allowing two parties to kind of throw the ball back and forth. And I think that's why the two parties are more likely, they're more willing to debate each other than anything else. And that's a problem. And it's like, why are you willing to only debate each other and not these third other options and stuff? And to me, that adds up to the, an obvious meaning. Well, you don't want somebody else to come in and make both of y'all illegitimate or absolute. Which is,
I agree with that 100%.
You're going to be eventually. Why not today? Or absolute. I said absolute. Obsolete. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
My bad.
That was and you know what? You just said that really perfect, because I always sit there and think about that, like, you know what, and that's what it is. You have two political parties that want to make sure that you don't need to hear about these other perspectives. You don't need to hear about the Green Party or the Libertarian Party. And I can't remember what the other one is, but people don't know about any of those parties, because the Democratic Party and the Republican Party make sure that you don't know a damn anything about them other parties, because they wanted to be all about them.
Yes.
And how,
Based on observation. I mean, in practice, it might be more complicated than that.
Nah, I don't think it's more complicated than that at all. I think it's just that. That's exactly what's going on here, and that's sad, and that really gets on my nerves.
It is.
It is sad. Okay, what do you think about Republicans going to town hall meetings and their constituents are pissed off? They're pissed about what? Custom Medicare and Israeli attacks in Gaza and the Epstein files. What you think? First of all, let's talk about, I want to get your take on Israeli attacks in Gaza. What you think about that?
I think that it's, as an American, I think it's a repeat of something that we did I think I was taught that we had the impression of being wrong for doing it. Pushing people off their land in order to create an ideal without them. And that's what I see happening in Palestine or Israel. I also see that American taxes, I think the Republican side of it, I think I see American taxpayers spending trillions of dollars, in my lifetime, trillions of dollars. And there's people in Israel that are getting free health care and free education, and also the ability to bully someone who's basically been locked in a open air prison for 40 plus 50 years. I don't see why we're investing in a project that's not going to produce great human beings on either end.
Yeah.
I don't see the people of Israel coming out of this situation as such great human beings that they're going to move the world forward after bullying Palestinians for 70 years. And I don't see the Palestinians coming out of this as they have a possibility. I mean, you know, if the right attitude, I've seen some things where they got a good attitude, but after the turmoil and the trauma that they've gone through, what do you think is going to come out of there? You think they're going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you expecting? And then let's talk about people watching it happen. What do you think we think of the people that do this kind of thing? What do you really think you're going to get out of this long term? Let's be a little practical for just a moment.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh. This ain't nothing to laugh about because it's sad.
Well.
But
Well, hey, look.
I 110% agree with you, sir. It's like, what, WTF? I mean, come on now. Oh my God, war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
When there was a time where people couldn't communicate, which means we couldn't understand what I would want from you, and you didn't understand I didn't understand what you wanted from me.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, we may have to go to war because of our inability to communicate with precision. Because maybe you needed something that I was able to give you, and I needed something that I was readily able to give you. And instead of just us making the exchange, we go to war. You know, in that sense, we would have to deal with war. But in the way we did, we can communicate now. We know that everybody knows we're limited of resources. That's not a secret. Everybody knows how much pollution and knows how it affects the crops and all this kind of. These are not secrets. So in that sense, war today is obsolete.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're trying to impose a new power and
Yeah.
just wipe a group of people off the earth, you know, so that you can impose that power. But yeah, today, we're not in overpopulation yet, so we can kind of level it off here.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, there's no reason for war. Not practically,
You're right.
you know.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as all the, this is even going off my notes or whatever. Let me look here. Yeah, time is drawing nigh. So we about to wrap this thing up, ladies and gentlemen. But check this out. I want to ask you, how do you feel about the war with Ukraine and Russia and all of that? I think Vladimir Putin is a strong man. You know what I'm saying? And he don't give a damn about none of the crap Trump is talking about. He gonna go ahead and defeat Ukraine because he wants to bring Russia back to own all of that Northern European area, like KGB times.
I have nothing invested in Europe or Russia.
I don't give a damn.
It's not that. It's not that. That's not the end
About
all.
those folks.
I have nothing invested.
Those folk fighting each
However,
other.
last I checked, half of Ukraine is Russia when it comes to the idea.
They're
of
cousins with the
Europe.
Russians.
Well, with keeping peace
That's what I
with
heard.
Europe,
I heard they were cousins.
there's supposed to be an area that is not supposed to be missiles and stuff, so that Russia feels comfortable with Europe. And if that's being violated because of whatever change they're making in Ukraine, joining NATO, then I think that's unfair because it sounds like there was someone who conceded to come to that agreement. You know, and to concede to that agreement, I'd have to imagine it was Russia that conceded. And so it's like, why are we pushing further than that? You know, we're picking a fight that's unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, America don't need to have nothing involved in that, but you know how that is. Like I said, there's certain folk who want to bang with each other. So we end up involved
You don't
in
even
there,
go
right?
down that alley.
Okay, look, I'm about to get out of here in my last a couple of minutes here. I want to talk about some pop culture. Let's talk pop culture. Kodak Black
Oh my!
went.
I'm sorry. I'm 42. I'm 42. I'm 42.
I'm almost 50.
I'm 42.
But I knew he would. This is hilarious. I couldn't wait to talk to Rick about this. Kodak Black, look, went to his old neighborhood, Golden Acres in Pompeo, Florida, and covered 2 months' rent for the entire community. I throw the thing away for that. 2 months' rent.
So he means right. I think it's a good act in trying to do right, but I think it's also a good act of ignorance.
Why?
Because all you've done is extended them for 2 months. In the sense of if you spent that amount of money, I think you could have implemented something to provide something small like permanent fresh water, permanent fresh vegetables, permanent something else.
as opposed to free rent. That would have lasted longer. You know, it would have extended his life. But also, not to degrade what he did, I think what he did was awesome.
Okay.
You know, but I think that a lot of young black men get a lot of money, and we're not prepared to handle that type of power.
Word.
Because we don't know what to do with it at first. We celebrate ourselves at first. But then when we learn what our obligation is to family and the community and stuff, it becomes a slow progression to really understanding how you really become yourself
Word.
a power in that community.
Word.
And then to empower that community. Because with that act, did he help? Absolutely. I think,
But like you said, he could have did so much
anywhere.
more. He could have did, and that's see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I love Tony's brother. That's why I love Tony. All my friends, man. I got some really smart, intelligent friends, and they give me great perspective on things. So I do want to praise that. I love what he did there, but you just brought it up. He could have did so much more with that money. But it's a progression. We learn as black men. You know what I'm saying? How can we add to our communities, and we learn how to add on. So that was awesome what he did. But hopefully he takes that and be like, hold up, with that money, couldn't I did this, couldn't I did that, and it would have been even something longer, something more sustainable.
Well, and it's his money at the end
For the
of
community.
day.
Yeah, no, we're not hating on it.
It's his money.
I love that. That's why I wanted to bounce that off you
his
though.
money.
Because I knew that would give me a good perspective on that. And I'm not poo-pooing what he did. I love that. I love when these young brothers get this money and then they go back to their neighborhoods. And I done seen some of these brothers just go back to neighborhoods and just give people money. Give them money. What was the video that Drake had? God's Plan. The whole video was him just running around, giving people that helped him out in the past, black folk who needed that money. Because you could see some of them was crying,
Yes.
you know, and hugging him like, thank
Well, let me
you.
interject
You
with
saved my
something.
life with this.
I
What's
want
up?
to leave with this message. This
Yes,
idea.
sir.
Money is a tool, just like a drill, a hammer, screwdriver. It is a tool. You don't live on money. You don't need it, right? In order to use money at this most efficient, you have to respect that there's a level of intelligence that has to be in operation to have real effect with it. You know, and I'm not trying to put anybody down if you have the ability to do something like what Kodak Black did, and that is what you have the
Word.
access to do that.
Word.
What I'm saying is that there is a history and an understanding, and even a strategy and a plan, that if you read your history and you learn those strategies, you will be fully effective towards your community. But you will also develop enemies. And that's also, I think it's another way we subconsciously as a community recognize who's really down and who's really not, is based on that. Because we know what type of enemies you will develop by truly investing money in what really would help our community. You know, so that
Word.
idea, I'm sure he got some property owners, landowners.
Uh-huh.
They made some money, but were they all black landowners and property owners that made money?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You
too.
know, and it's like, so again, people were able to live 2 months or 1 month or whatever without having to worry about rent. And that's an awesome thing. However, when it comes to community, you know,
Yeah.
if we were a little bit more strategic and collective,
Yeah.
I think we would be more effective when it comes to establishing power.
Even when we're having this conversation, I'm thinking, what would it have been if he had took that money and went over here and bought some land and built some dwellings on the land that those
And
people,
grew food, build the houses and the farm, build both.
and these people could have
And they're
lived there with.
self-sufficient with food and probably some well water, whatever.
Yeah, but see, that just comes from this conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? But I get that. You know, that's what it's all about. Longevity, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's a black community. I guess we need to get up on that. Longevity.
It's hard to tell your politician what to do when the politician knows you need him more than he needs you. But when we put ourselves in a position where we don't have to participate in your game because we're self-sufficient. We can provide everything that you're claiming you want to give us better, we've already got.
Word.
You know, that's where we want to put ourselves before we deal with politics or politicians. As a community, individually, we find ourselves, you know, where
He just said it right there. I'm going to wrap it up right there. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Urban politics. Black folk, American folk, we got to become self-sufficient. You know, I was even talking to him earlier, and I was saying I want to be the person in my family that my other family members come to when they need medicine, when they need, you know what I'm saying, good food, when they need all that, you know. Maybe you growing your own garden, doing stuff like that. You want to be that person in your family that other people can come to. We got to become self-sufficient. This guy got me on that years ago, still on it today. Hey, Rick, give me some. I love it, man. When I connect with my brothers with the big brains, we have great shows. Urban Politics. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in. I like you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little feet on over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Fizz that music, Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, me and Rick, we're going to see you round like a donut.